Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. Today we had an installment of Capcom TV. This is a Japanese Capcom streaming event where they'd be showcasing a bunch of Capcom games, and naturally they were showcasing Street Fighter 6. They are showcasing the new TGS build, which we'll see a lot more of later on in the month. But specifically, that means we have playable versions of Kimberly and Juri, not just the usual same four we've always been seeing. And in such, we've seen a fair bit about them gameplay-wise. You can see here the same old character select menu, and yet there is some new faces, Guile as well, on top of Kimberly and Juri. So what are some of the things we learned here? Some bigger, some smaller, especially on the mechanic stuff. We now have some insight into Kimberly and Juri and how their core mechanics work. Specifically, turns out they are both resource-oriented characters. Now, Juri, we knew this already, right? But Kimberly comes to a bit of surprise. Also, Juri totally just balances on a tire during character select because why not? And not to be outdone by these tire shenanigans here, Kimberly's just rocking to her beat the whole time while she's waiting for the character select to finish up. Now, on to the direct gameplay itself. One of the biggest things we've learned here, Kimberly specifically has a resource, and that is her spray paint cans. So, once the match starts, if we have a little gander here at the life bar, you may notice there is an icon with the number 2 beside it, and that is basically how many spray paint cans she's allowed to use before, well, she runs out. Any move that uses a spray can, even something like this level 1 super here, as you can see at the end of the move, she tosses the spray can, boom, you lose 1 stock of spray can, but you can regain it. Here you see Kimberly just kind of secreting away, trying to find something in her pockets, I don't know, but regardless, she succeeds, and then she gains another spray can, and then gets kicked in the face, but still, that is how she gains her resource back, and then she immediately burns it and loses it. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, I suppose. So, powerful mechanic, you can use it as a projectile, you can use it as like a landmine, sorta, as we've seen previously. Also impacts your supers, you do more damage with your supers if you have some in stock. So it's something you really got to keep in mind when you're playing as Kimberly. Now, Juri, keeping in mind with the resource mechanics here, you might notice by her name we have 2 little yin-yang symbols here. So what is this exactly? So you probably recall that Juri has a store system, in that once you have a store, she can do certain moves. And as you can see here, when she does her move, then she loses her store. Now the difference is now, in case you're unaware, you can do any of her moves whenever. You do not need a store to do anything at all. You can just do the move. When you have a store, it just makes that move better. And it would appear to be, unlike Street Fighter V, the stores are just generic for lack of a better term. So whenever you have it, it's just, you can have 1, 2, or 3 stored up, and you can use it on any old move you want. You don't need specifically the light kick store for the light kick move, the medium kick store for the medium kick move, this, that, and the other, right? It just works. So not only can you do the moves whenever you want, if you have the store, you don't need to have hit a very specific button beforehand to have the very specific store for the very specific move. Everything's a lot more generalized now, and that is definitely to Juri's benefit. I've said it before that this is going to be very likely the best version of Juri ever, and stuff like this has definitely helped pointing to that direction. Juri started as a weird negative edge character, which kind of scared people off. Her transition to Street Fighter V was not great, let's put it that way. But this version of Juri finally seems like this is the one that can actually appeal to the average player. So those are 2 core character mechanics. What about just some of the general stuff we've learned from just some of the footage that we've seen? So first up here, one of the examples that's pretty interesting is Juri doing a punish combo and does a Fuha move that's EX'd into a combo, and that's kind of whatever. But once again, since she can do whatever move she wants now, the standalone moves all have their own EX versions, so that's pretty interesting. Versus the one catch-all that kind of does everything. Here we can see Juri doing her level 1 super, and it's actually an interesting mix of her Street Fighter 4 supers and Street Fighter 5 super. So just like her Street Fighter 4 super, just kind of doing a bunch of stuff and, kicking upwards, and then ending with the Street Fighter 5 critical art big slash. So just like a lot of things with Juri here in this version of the game, kind of mixing the old with the new. Or, well, the old with the not as old now, I guess, because, well, Street Fighter 6 is the new. And while we're here, we can see the timeout animations for both the characters. Here we can see Kimberly using her teleport, I guess we'll call it, stance here. So teleports from above and hits the enemy, but there's quite a few options. There's also a basic strike attached to it here, as you can see here, kind of bopping Juri, and on counter, plenty of time to go into a super move to hit confirm. You can also, on top of just, doing a assumed overhead, a regular strike, you can also just do a fake out. You can effectively teleport, not necessarily fully in place, but close enough. So people who are overly defensive waiting for the attack, you can just do the empty version and go for a throw or something like that. Now, despite the teleport though, keep in mind these are not invincible and you can get hit out of it. Here we have a basic hit confirm for Juri, crouch like kick, crouch like punch into Fuha store. Crouch like kick feels like it's got some decent range to it. Uses one of the stores here on the enhanced fireball, hits pretty meaty it looks like, giving a lot of frame advantage, going directly into heavy DP. This next one's a bit weird just because, I don't know, like you tell me, man. So Kimberly gets her win pose and then she slides into the foreground. So she breaks out of the usual Street Fighter 2D plane, which is just something I'm not prepared for. So you can see here she's happy and then slides in. And now she's at an angle that's not normal. That's weird. Also, while we're here going into the next round, look at her spray can count. It's still 1. Because earlier she used 1. It does not regenerate in between rounds. So it is a resource you have to be extra mindful of. Going from there, Juri's level 3 super. So you've seen this before, but only the special low health version. This is the regular version, which is much more in line with her Street Fighter 4 Ultra. The version where she kicks you in the face, that is the low health enhanced version. So this is more classic like Street Fighter 4. Real quick, blink and you miss it, you can see Guile on the character select screen. Just chilling on a barrel because he's cool like that, I guess. And on that note here on the character select screen, how about some alternate colors? So obviously, knowing Street Fighter, everyone's going to have a million colors and a million costumes and it's all going to cost you a pretty penny, right? But still, the new characters, we haven't seen alternate colors for them yet, and well, here they are. So Juri rocking kind of like a black, purple, green kind of look here. And Kimberly is rocking blue and yellow. And I think, honestly, that with the white looks pretty sharp on her. I actually like that more than the normal colors. But once again, I'm sure everyone's going to have a million colors to go through. But it's nice to just see the not standard colors for now. This sequence here, you can see Juri looks like she still has the overhead. And going from there, we can see the target combo applied from the trailer. Next up, we can see some parry. So Juri goes for a parry, and it's basically just like kicking your limbs away here. So she kicks at you to parry your move. Same with parrying a low. When you go low, she just kind of kicks at you here to parry the low. Next up here, we see Kimberly's level 2 super. Now, the interesting thing here is she started it in the air. So it looks like you actually have to jump first before you can accomplish this super move. Now, this sequence here, I'm just a fan of here, just because it just works out so great. So they both parry, trying to wait for a move here, but the person playing Juri realizes it for what it is, immediately goes into a drive rush from the parry. The drive rush causes a little bit of screen stop, like they're stuck in the animation they're stuck in while you're doing your drive rush forward. And then they, still in the parry state, get thrown, so they get punish countered, so as to throw with even more damage. I made a video not too long ago talking about how grapplers might be extra good in Street Fighter 6 because of stuff like this. So seeing it realized here, catching them stuck in the parry, grabbing them before they can get out of it, is just kind of proof positive of what I was thinking about. It's just a really cool little sequence here. I'm a really big fan. And that's about it for the footage that we've had. So if you want to see the whole thing uninterrupted, it is Japanese only, just so you know. There's no subtitles, there's no translation. I'll put a link to that in the video description. But it's nice to get a little bit of some tidbits of the TGS build ahead of the actual Tokyo Game Show. And of course, naturally, once the Tokyo Game Show happens, we have our special event, all that kind of stuff. I'll have full coverage on the channel, so look forward to that. And just in general, honestly, all things Street Fighter 6, I'll do my best to cover everything I can on the channel. So like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, you know. Look forward to it, because I definitely am. So Tokyo Game Show 2022 is this month. It's only a little whiles away. And we're getting a lot more than just the build you're seeing here too, because there's going to be a whole program. There's going to be lots of reveals. So look forward to it, because it's going to be a big deal. That all said though, we're now at the end of the video, so thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.